Hey guys, welcome to What in the World? Steve. Okay, this is the Baton holder number two. But you know what? We're going back to the future. I'm not going to take you there yet, man. 'Cause the other one is the grand finale, mate. You're not going to get there that quickly. You must think to yourselves, what's the reason why, Steve is acting the way he is, man? You know, he's gone far too far. The reason is because, there's more than meets the eye, you know? Yeah. So I'll tell you a bit of a history of, my first big bro. So the previous baton holder, you know, was very close to my first big bro, So when I was going out with my first big bro, and like I told you, he introduced me to a lot of seniority figures. So yeah, I got to know the all the elders and everyone very very fast at lightning speed pretty much, because it's like bam, you're just in the middle segment. So because I was a lot younger back then, but I was always hanging with the older people. But it's cool, it's perfect because I'm an old soul. So yeah. So what happened one time was drinking with my elders, and then I'm a big bro, and then one day my big bro comes up to me and he says, Along, your bigger elder has got into a bit of trouble, and they've got a warrant out for his arrest, so yeah, he's left something with me, and yeah, I don't think I can hold on to it, so I think very danger, so so can you keep it for me, and you come to my house and pick it up, and then I'll get someone to pick it up, and then I go, yeah, man, just pass it over, passes it to me, go home, open the bag, and I went, ah, is this what bricks look like? Yeah. So after 24 hours later, get a call. This guy comes and picks it up, and the elder that I was close to, they had yeah. I'll go in different tangents of the prequels after this, because there's a lot more. But yeah, but sometimes when you just look at what I say, you just think to yourself, this guy's on the express train, man. How does he evolve so quickly? Yeah, there's history behind it. That's why. So when I told you previously, when my elder goes, I have nothing but money, that one. Because he said that, right? I never tagged along with him, so I never hung with him. So I only hung with my first big bro, and all the other elders are that don't hang with him. But the ones that I was hanging with they were pretty due to be the next baton holder. Yeah. So the moment that they made an announcement and then done an internal meeting because a new one was due, the elder that I got really close to, you know got a warrant for his arrest. Yeah. So what had happened was the internal seniority elders held their internal meeting again, and then this is before the warrant, and then they said hey, who's up next, man? Because I think the current one now that we have is a bit tired, man. Let him have a rest, and let him do some things that he likes to do. So they go, so who's up next? Oh, yeah, let Fat Boy be up next, yeah. He's due. And then so they all have an internal meeting, you know. Fat boy? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fat boy? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You? Well, at the moment, he's the one that's got it all, as in like, you know, it's working, you know, he's flowing, flourishing, you know, everyone knows him. It's time. So, cheers, you know, the tribe has spoken. So they announce it. And then that very night, we went to, it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. We used to have a nightclub down at the Center Point Tower. Yeah. And then our joint. Yeah. And we held the ceremony there. Yeah. We cheesed the elder. And I was so happy, you know, because like, you know, even though I was under like, you know, the first big bro that I was with, I was actually closer to like, you know, the other elder. Yeah. Yeah. Because like, you know, me and him just like, you know, had like, you know, we're on the same channel. Yeah. And me and him really got along, you know. And the reason why, you'll see it like I explain this to you, you know, because like, you know, when just before he held the baton, right, we hung out with each other day in, day out. And then one lunchtime, right, you know, he said to me, you know, while we're having like, you know, a meal, he goes to me, you know, Dragon, what do you want to do with yourself, you know? And then I go, you know, oh, elder, to tell you the truth, you know, because I'm close to him now, you know, so just tell him anything, you know. And then he goes, you know, and then so I go, you know, I want to be an actor and a singer. And then my previous elder goes, you know, how long? You know, just think of a way to like make money would be a better method than thinking of that, man. You know, like for him, it was just too far fetched. Yeah, because he heard it and he went, "Hey, 阿龍，諗下辦法揾錢仲好過啦," you know. Yeah, so that's what I just said back in Chinese. Yeah, but that's what he said. You know, you better find another method to like, you know, rather make money. You know, it's more beneficial. And then you know, and then I said, "Come on, hi," you know. Yeah, I think that should be the right way. I guess. Yeah, yeah. So, what had happened was, when he got the warrant, we celebrated, you know, very happy, cheers it. Yes, yes, you know, you're the new, like, you know, leader, you know, yes, yes, yes. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, man, like, you know, here's who I wanted, you know. I don't have to, like, you know, always, like, crawl up to the, like, you know, the most rich and famous or the most powerful, like, in order to, like, you know, not be recognized, but, like, you know, it's just who you like to deal with, man. Like, you know, some people you don't get along with and some you do. And apparently, like, you know, the ones that I, like, you know, do get along with, you know, ends up getting, like, you know, the baton. Yeah. So, the moment he got the baton, he was only our chair for 1 week. I think it was 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks max, you know? Because the minute, it's so typical, man. It's just like a typical movie, man. Like, you know, it's like if you win the Oscar, right? Straight away, no one hires you anymore because your price is too expensive. So it's like, you know, when my previous elder, like, you know, got the baton, you know, they released a warrant for his arrest. Like, you know, shit happens. Yeah, so that's also a reason why, like, you know, my next elder, like, you know, the coming up one, got an emergency, like, had an emergency, like, internal meeting. Because, like, you know, they go, the seniorities, like, you know, sat back again, like, you know, together and probably thought, shit, man, like, you know, he's on the run now. Like, we need another one, man. Like, you know, we can't have someone empty in Chinatown. We need another, like, you know, dragon head. Yeah. So that's why they collaborated and then, like, you know, went for an internal meeting and then, like, you know, chose another one. And that's why, like, my elder, ended up to be like, the youngest ever to hold the baton in the Enchanted Forest, in the dark Guinness Book of Records. Yeah. So that's the bit of a prequel that I want to tell you. All right, guys, stay tuned. There will be more juicy, 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 juicy. Okay. Have a lovely day. I love you, and stay tuned. See you.